The Oscar goes to
Bond. James Bond.
Phone home.
My dear, I don't give a damn.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
One morning, I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I don't know.
My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. My sister thanks you. And I thank you.
Welcome everyone to Our Friend Oscar. I'm the co-host Todd,
I'm Megan.
I'm Brian.
and it's still not about Sesame Street.
Oh.
But once the Oscars are actually over, we'll make this whole podcast just about Sesame Street.
I really do now want to write like an in-depth backstory movie for Oscar the Grouch, where he starts off as like a successful lawyer. He's got his life together, and he develops some disease that causes him to start growing green fur from every inch of his body.
I thought you were gonna go like the jerk angle.
Nah, and then just his wife leaves him, and he loses his job, gets kicked out of his apartment, ends up living in a trash can.
His dog dies.
Yeah,
And then
you always have to kill the dog in that movie.
You're a grouch, Oscar.
But he accepts the fact that he's in a garbage can.
Yeah.
Like he has to be like, I found life in this garbage can.
Yeah, he comes to terms with it. He becomes a complete person. Well, not a person, but
Yeah.
A Muppet.
Yeah.
Or man, who knows?
Is he a man or is he a Muppet? Because if he's a Muppet, he's a pretty manly Muppet.
Well, tonight, we are going to be talking about comedies.
Comedy.
It's the unsung heroes of the Oscars.
oh yeah. What was the last comedy to win Best Picture?
I want to say Artist.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
I really want to say the
I
Artist.
still haven't seen that movie, and I'm mad at myself for not seeing that movie yet.
It's,
They never get. There's the old saying, "Dying is easy, comedy is hard." It's so true. If you're in a comedic film, you have to do all the stuff that a dramatic actor does and be funny.
Yeah.
And every best actor should go to a comedic actor.
except for Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
In the same way, I want a Michael Bay movie to win a Best Special Effects Oscar. I want an Adam Sandler movie. I want a what is it? A Happy Gilmore movie to win something. Because I just want I want to see him go up on the stage and get the thing.
And do like his wacky talking to children voice.
I made art!
Do it as
Awareness!
his opera singer character from
Yeah, just go up and be opera man, accepting his award.
I could just see, like, I'm surprised, like, if he was getting nominated and he would win, I could see him doing that. Like, I really wanted,
I love when people don't take the Oscars seriously. I love that. My favorite thing ever from the Oscars was Matt Smith and Trey Parker coming in dresses. I mean, that was just like, and people got so mad at them.
No, my favorite is the very first Oscars where Rin Tin Tin was nominated for Best Actor.
He almost got it.
yeah. I want to know what would happen if they won for Blame Canada. And they're up there accepting their awards in their dresses.
Yeah. It would have been interesting.
I mean, I can just imagine, because a lot of people won't know that,
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden you see these two men wearing dresses.
Yeah. And they're just up
And
there.
they're like, thank you for giving us this award for our song that blames Canada for the behaviors of 8-year-olds.
Glad that the American film, I don't know, critical base has discovered that Canada is an evil, godless country that should be wiped off the planet.
You start talking about the Canadians, Canadian agendas, and the music starts up not even like how it normally starts up, where it's like, yeah, nice and slow, you have to get off stage now, but just furious, like, get off the stage.
Yeah, because I could see him just keep talking. I could just see him talking and talking.
And then just the conductor just going faster and faster and just get off the stage, you
half
hacks.
the actors are really into it and laughing, and then the ones that take themselves way too seriously are super pissed.
Yeah.
Cuts to Sean Penn, and he's just.
It should have been me up there.
And Sean Penn's just has murder in his eyes. Then Robin Williams is just doubled over. Because he was still alive then. He could have
He
done
did the
it.
performance.
Oh.
He performed playing piano.
He was actually, the funny thing is, people wanted him to host the Oscars.
This year?
Multiple times.
Kind of surprised he never did.
Yeah.
The reason why? His routine is very dirty.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they literally said, we can't have this guy we can't trust this guy with the FCC, so
I would have. Considering how many times Billy Crystal did it,
Yeah.
you would have thought like one time they would have said, you know what, let's get Robin Williams and Whoopi Goldberg up there too.
well, they did Whoopi Goldberg.
To be fair, even Billy Crystal was naked when he hosted one of the times he hosted the Oscars. It was well, he had his
Full
hand.
Monty, I'm guessing.
It was that Jack Nicholson, I think Diane Keaton movie. It was like he was an old guy dating a younger girl and like.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I
Yeah,
know the
that
movie
one.
you're talking about. I don't know the name.
But he did like parodies of the movies, and there's like Jack Nicholson seeing her naked, so they made him naked. He like was on a talk show, and he's like, "Yeah, I was like completely naked for that, just covering myself with my hands."
The one host when they announced it, I was really excited, was Eddie Murphy.
That would have been interesting. But
Yeah.
then, what's his name from the
Brett
Tower
Ratner.
Heist was like being an asshole when he was like, "I'm gonna walk off in."
From what I heard, it was like a gay remark from Brett Ratner.
He said something like, "Rehearsals are for." F."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
Mm.
But it's not like he was gonna win an Oscar. Or anything.
No.
Brett Ratner's like, no.
He's the guy you go to when you need an action director on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call him up and like, yeah, Brett Ratner, yeah, come on.
Nobody ever
Like,
pitches a movie with Brett Ratner as the director.
Just like
Except for Rush Hour.
Yeah. If Brett Ratner's the director, you know that their real director fell through.
it's like that episode of SpongeBob where he was the hall monitor. Mrs. Puff's just like instead of just calling out other people in the class, she's just calling out every other action movie director while Brett Ratner's scooting closer in his little shell-shaped desk.
Something's Gotta Give is the movie.
That's
Yeah.
the one.
Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton.
I heard that when I heard Jack Nicholson movie and Oscar, all I could think was As Good as It Gets. Because I'm still mad that lost to Titanic.
Well, it was Titanic.
Yeah, but that was a way better movie.
I'm not saying Titanic was even a good movie. It was Titanic. That
I know,
was
but it
like
just-
the thing. Titanic was the 90s.
It pissed me off because As Good as It Gets won Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, Best Screenplay, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, lost to Robin Williams from Good Will Hunting,
Well,
and
yeah.
then lost Best Picture. It's like you had the Best Actor, the Best Script, the Best Director, the Best Actress, but your movie just wasn't as good as this boat movie.
Well, no different than Save It Private Ryan and
Yeah.
Shakespeare in Love.
It's the only. I was talking to someone about this yesterday, and they were saying that the only reason people remember Shakespeare in Love is they say, "Oh yeah, isn't that the movie that beat Saving Private Ryan for the Oscar?"
But obviously, we're going to talk about comedies.
Yeah.
This year came out two fantastic comedies: Grand Budapest Hotel
Oh, I love that
and Birdman.
movie. Man, yes.
I'm the only one of the co-hosts that hasn't seen
the
Birdman.
Comedy, the laugh a minutes, wacky shenanigans of a suicidal, mentally ill actor.
And the question now that brings up to point is, Birdman is categorized as a comedy, but when we really define a comedy,
It's
What makes it a comedy?
what
I
really
mean,
makes it a comedy?
the actual definition is a happy ending, but there's like a societally understood definition of it's funny. And yeah, there were moments in Birdman that I really laughed at when he got locked outside of the theater and had to run through Times Square in his underwear and run in the stage with his hand like, "Stop!" And they were yelling, "Put down the gun!" Just like that. Yeah, that legitimately made me laugh, but
It was that last, 5 minutes
yeah.
where he, spoiler alert, commits suicide. He jumps right out of the window. And Now I got
don't
a
think I can
question.
see
What
it.
is what are these award shows thinking now? Is
I think,
definition?
I think it's just they wanted to give a Best Picture to both Boyhood and Birdman.
Mhm.
I really think that's it.
And I probably do agree with you, but I mean at the same time,
Yeah.
this is not a comedy if we're going by this definition now.
For all-
You gotta.
For all we know, the Academy just really missed Michael Keaton in a good role.
And they did. I mean, the ending was somewhat ambiguous.
Yeah.
If you wanted to believe that something else happened, you could.
Mhm.
So, I mean, maybe they had someone really lobbying the, what is it, the Hollywood Foreign Press that does Golden Globes?
Yep.
Really lobbying the Hollywood Foreign Press that, no, he really did have psychic powers and he was flying over the city. And that's what happened there.
I mean, and you can say it kind of did end in a happy ending. His play was.
And he became a complete person by the end of it.
Yeah.
It was just, he became a complete person that jumped out a window.
Yeah, he became a complete person, and the play was a success. So
He got his legacy that he was looking for.
So
Yeah.
Is Birdman, the plot of Birdman, just basically anytime Adam West has had a cameo in like a kids show?
It's basically Michael Keaton.
yeah,
Ah.
'Cause he did Batman, and then he just kind of disappeared for a long time.
Yeah. It's pretty much the story behind Birdman is it's about an actor who was famous for this superhero role called Birdman,
Mhm.
and he just disappears after the third movie, and now he wants to come back and show people that he's a real actor.
He doesn't want to be remembered as like a movie star. He wants to be remembered as an actor.
Ah.
And it's just the insaneness that goes on behind backstage and how that inflects his creative process to the point where he goes crazy and gives him psychic powers.
Yeah. And it's like, and there's the whole thing where like everybody in this thing has an opportunity to see he has some sort of mental illness and try to do something about it, but everyone just kind of lets it slide.
Mhm.
Which I think is the subtitle, The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. I think that's
Mhm.
what it's referencing.
Yeah. And then obviously we had the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Loves
Which,
Grand Budapest.
I mean, I saw it like a year ago, so I can't remember every fine detail and every joke that made me like
Yeah.
start crying.
Well,
But it
that
was
is a
beautiful.
classical comedy. It's
That
just-
was.
yeah.
I mean, there were old lady boobs, but despite that, it was pretty amazing.
There were a few shocking moments,
Yeah.
and specifically the door with the finger.
Oh, yeah.
And the cat.
And throwing a cat out a window.
He was throwing a cat out the window.
You know, what I find so interesting about this movie is Wes Anderson, in my opinion, he's a very simple director. He takes one simple idea and he goes, okay, I want to do a thing about family. And that's how you got the Royal Tenenbaums. And this is like his bizarre view of what family is. And then with Moonrise Kingdom, it was his bizarre look at love. And
Like young love and coming of age, and
yeah,
and he did it spectacularly.
and then Life of the Aquatics.
I still haven't seen.
Oh,
it.
I
Me
can't really.
neither.
Steve Zuzu.
don't
I
wanna-
should. It has Bill Murray in it.
Yeah.
But I just haven't.
And it looks like I like that one.
I haven't seen that, and I haven't seen
I haven't
Darjeeling Limited yet.
I haven't seen those either.
I haven't seen that one either.
But I like that if you like look at just the footage of a Wes Anderson movie, like it looks like the same kind of pastel color scheme. You can be like, yeah, that's Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
He's very.
he's like the
He's
anti Tim
as-
Burton, where
Yeah,
like
he's as visually recognizable as Tim Burton.
yeah,
Mhm.
that makes them my two favorite directors. Obviously Tim Burton a bit more so, but Wes Anderson is
Mhm.
he's up there.
I don't know if you could do that with Tarantino, but I think if you had that, you couldn't do it with a still. But if you had a moving shot, you'd know. it's
Yeah.
Tarantino.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, well, Tarantino is more known for he uses the same shot over and over again. He's not necessarily known for here's a color scheme.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's known for every movie of his has like a shot of someone opening up a trunk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or a picture of a foot.
Weird and Django.
Was that in Django?
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was about to say I could see it though, like not necessarily like a trunk, but he opens up like a
Yeah, like a
Like a
Chest.
carpet
a
bag.
chest, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a.
Could have been a carpet bag. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a carriage.
That did lead to.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't super pumped about that movie, but I really did like the Django Unchained scene from A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah, that's
That was
awesome.
that was one of the few moments that I actually
that
liked
was
in that
like
movie.
starting off. I'm like, wait, are they really? It's
Yeah.
like something about his feet. I was like, that's Django.
Mhm. You know why?
Because Quentin Tarantino's foot obsession.
Yeah.
Do you know why they did that?
Wow.
Because people thought the little pictures on the shooting range was offensive.
That
So
was
he,
the point.
so
though.
that was the point.
And
They're like, well, what if we got Jamie Foxx to show up and shoot the guy?
pretty much
doing
what
it?
happened.
Like, oh well, I'd feel better about that. Ah, fine.
Yeah, but I mean,
I feel like that's Seth MacFarlane's reaction to everything. He just gets super teenage girl. People are like, that's offensive. Fine, I'll do something different.
You don't like me showing the boob, talking about the boob song? Fine.
Fine,
I'll get the gay horsemen.
I'll get William Shatner to show up and say, no one's gonna like your song you're about to do.
Jennifer Lawrence liked it.
Yeah, because
Well, that's Jennifer Lawrence.
I love that they just cut to her in the audience.
And she's like, yes, Jennifer Lawrence, we haven't seen your boobs at all. And she's like, yeah, suck on that. You haven't seen my boobs.
Now we have.
I haven't. Oh, right, the fappening.
People think like Seth MacFarlane's like our generation's Mel Brooks.
No.
No.
And I'm just like,
Honestly, I would say the closest our generation has to Mel Brooks is Edgar Wright.
mhm. I give you that. I mean, that one's definitely.
Yeah, he did do a good zombie movie parody because it was a good parody, but it also solidified itself like as a zombie movie,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is what Mel Brooks did.
And that's what makes a good parody a parody. It's
Yeah,
you're poking fun at something, but it's its own thing at the same
Still-
time.
yeah.
Clearly love the material, and you're still clearly.
Yeah, probably.
It's not the starving.
Do you
Goose.
feel like there's any
Yeah.
other comedies that should be nominated or this year?
I kind of feel like there should be some acknowledgement in some like official manner of the interview.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I don't think. And based on what I've heard, it doesn't deserve any sort of award.
Yeah,
On its
based on
own
what I've heard,
merits,
it's just
but-
garbage.
It is.
Yeah, my
But, I
cousin
mean, it's
described it as a
still-
movie that made her want to kill herself. So
But it was the most important movie of the year.
Mhm.
yeah, I think maybe when they're doing their nominees, they should just do like an honorable mention, the interview, not because it's good, but because it's kind of a big deal.
And it might have stopped them making a really, really bad Ghostbusters
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, it's still in the talks.
Really?
And that's what- oh.
If they make a Ghostbusters 3, I don't even know.
It's not even a Ghostbusters 3. It's a reboot with an all-female cast with Peter Dinklage.
I think a good Ghostbusters movie could still be made, and I think even a good reboot could still be made because, like, the whole point of the Ghostbusters, the original one, was like how mundane it was and how much of just like a job it was. You know, that's where a lot of the jokes came from.
Yeah.
And so, in a modern world, because the world of today is different than the world of the '80s,
Mhm.
so if you did the same thing with a modern world and told basically the same story but updated it, you could make a good movie. And like 2 of the proposed female cast I actually think are funny.
Mhm.
And then there's Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, I was
who's
about
the
to say, I'm
same
guessing
character
Melissa
in
McCarthy's on
every
there.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm getting really tired of Melissa McCarthy. I mean, I'm glad that we've gotten to a point where we can have like funny fat women the same way we had funny fat men, like Chris Farley, John Candy to an extent. But Melissa McCarthy's getting on my nerves.
John Candy
we
and
either
Chris
need-
Farley played different. Well, not Chris Farley, but John Candy
Yeah,
played
like different
different
roles.
characters
Yeah.
in his movies.
There's the difference there. I'm trying to figure out John Belushi.
John
John
Belushi.
Yeah.
Yeah, John.
Is it John Belushi?
No.
Or is it James? Or is
Uh,
James his brother?
James is the one that's still alive.
Okay.
So John Belushi's the
Well,
one.
John Belushi played different roles.
Yeah.
Because I mean, his role in Animal House is completely different than his role in The Blue
Blues
Brothers.
John Goodman's one of my favorite actors. He's like, when I
Yeah.
see he's in a movie, I get super pumped for it.
Mhm.
I may even go see that Mark Wahlberg Gambler movie just because he's in it.
So, do you feel that the definition of comedy should change?
I don't know, because when you say a movie's a comedy, there are expectations and that serves a purpose. Like that's it's got a utilitarian value, but at the same time, how do you judge serious-minded but happy ending movie compared to a serious-minded but tragic movie? You know, it's apples and oranges compared to value. So
I feel like we do need to get on to better terms for what's a comedy, but I think if you ask somebody like what makes something a comedy, they'll say, oh, something that's funny. But there's different kinds of funny. Like, I think Troll 2 is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It wasn't supposed to be one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, but it is. But it's not a so even though it's hilarious and I'd love to watch it because it makes me laugh, it's not a comedy. It's supposed to be a horror movie. Because I think basically at this point, if you like, for the sake of categorizing movies, just whatever the writer or director says it is, that's what it's going to be categorized as.
I think you have to have some kind of check, because you'll get someone making a mediocre dramatic movie that'll label it as a comedy, and it'll get on there,
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see what you're saying. I guess I still want a comedy to be defined as either something funny or something with a happy ending.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever seen Lost in Translation?
Yes, I love Lost in Translation.
I have not.
Do you count that as a comedy?
I don't know. I really don't, because it didn't even really have a happy ending. It just kind of ended, which is kind of the point. So I mean, I get had funny moments. So yeah, I don't know how to classify Lost in Translation, which is one of the reasons I like it.
And you know, it was funny because that was nominated for the Golden Globe for comedy. I remember my sister, she saw it, and she was like, "This movie is stupid. This movie isn't funny." And I just looked at her and like, and then I had to sit there, and I'm like 14 years old, I think, when that movie came out, and I looked at her and I went, "Well, not all comedies are funny."
Yeah.
And I was trying, and she was like so amazed I was able to explain to her what a comedy was from the Academy's standpoint.
And there's like the Shakespearean times definition where it was either there's comedy and there's tragedy. If you want to cry, you see a tragedy. If you want to be happy, you see a comedy. Doesn't necessarily mean the comedy is funny. You're just not gonna cry when you watch it.
It's like a Merchant of Venice.
Yeah.
It's technically a comedy, but let's face it.
But the funniest thing was just like the women were in drag and managed to convince their husbands or fiancés or whatever that they were men.
Which is actually men in drag.
In drag, yes. Which is pretty awesome. I've done it myself. It's quite fun.
Talking about Shakespeare comedies, my goal in life is to make one film. And my one film is going to be Measure for Measure. Starring Snoop Dogg as Pompey the Pimp. But I want it to be produced by the Royal Shakespeare Company. I want real Shakespearean actors, and then there's Snoop Dogg and Roseanne Barr.
I told you the movie I want to make, right? I want to make a movie that's just a straight genre movie with an ending that just is completely out of left field. Like, I want to make Die Hard, but at the end when he's holding Die Hard's wife hostage, when he's holding John McClane's wife hostage, instead of doing the like tape a gun to his back thing, just the rapture happens, or aliens attack, or Superman flies in, or just something completely out of left field.
Or just like,
because I would see that movie a dozen times.
Or even just John McClane's like, "Please don't shoot my wife." Okay.
And Alan Rickman's like, "Okay."
Yeah, okay.
And give the money back. You know it's not nice to steal. Yeah,
All
it's really
and
not.
Just goes outside with his head hung low and like, I surrender.
I'm sorry, guys. And they're like, "Oh, it's okay."
Carl Winslow gives him a hug.
Yeah.
Takes him to Dairy Queen.
Picks him up like a toddler. Alan Rickman just curls up in his arms.
And then just for the fun of it, Jameel White shows up.
But talking about the rapture happening in movies and things like that, there was
Left Behind.
Well, I wasn't going to mention that Red State, Kevin Smith's movie. He wanted it to end with the rapture happening, and all the teenagers go, but all the church people stay. And it was supposed to be like,
That would have been a good ending.
yeah.
I do like it when like
That
the
was the movie.
pious church people like don't get into heaven.
Mhm.
As much as I don't really like Family Guy, they have a few cutaway gags that I really like, and the one that was like Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson, whatever his name is,
I don't know,
after the
some
rapture,
old fat old
they're
dude.
just standing in an empty street, like, why didn't we go? We hated all the right people.
And they like, I hate that rock. I hate you more. And then they
They just
make
make
out
out.
to disco to like hardcore music.
My favorite American Dad episode is the Rapture.
The Rapture Christmas special. That's my favorite of the Christmas
The
specials.
Antichrist.
Yeah.
Antichrist.
You're one of my
That's my
other
favorite
dad's
depiction.
experiments.
Oh yes, one of my dad's side projects. Screw you! And just that's my favorite depiction of the Antichrist anyone has ever done ever. It's just a dude in a jumpsuit with upside down crosses, just in the high pitched voice. Just,
All right, Batman. All right, Jesus.
and then just, see, I'm the Antichrist. You were a carpenter. I'm not handy at all. Just condemn them, mother, for they know exactly what they do. And just looking at each other like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Sorry, am I allowed to say fuck?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All
Fuck,
right.
damn, and shit are just words, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you think Left Behind will ever get a nomination?
Oh, I want it to. I haven't seen it, but I just know that it's an adaptation of Left Behind starring Nicolas Cage.
Just
I am
just, like,
happy that exists.
the
in this
weekend
one.
that came out, we saw a different movie, and I was really surprised.
I think it was just the mood. What did we see? Did we see Annabelle that week?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think
but
I was just
like,
in the mood for like a horror movie.
because I remember seeing that was like it was opening weekend for that, and I'm like, okay, I made all my plans around going to see Left Behind, and you're like, well, let's see this other thing. I'm like, what?
I think I was just in the mood for a horror movie. Horror movies come out so infrequently,
They do.
and it's just
Like
that's
Halloween will come
sad.
around, and there'll be like 3 of them out, and then Valentine's Day comes around, there's 2 more.
You
It's
get
like
that
we need a-
one to get the, hey, how you doing? You a little scared? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hold.
Oh, I want to make a slasher movie.
Yeah.
I love slasher
That was
movies.
the first movie we saw, like, just on our own together. Was Cabin in the Woods.
That movie was good.
Oh, guys make me sick.
I'm glad I didn't
Good.
just like jump in my chair at the one jump scare in that movie.
Yeah. Just when the title came, if the title came up and you jumped, and you're like, ah, I would probably look over and be like, this guy's a pussy. I'm not gonna date him.
So back to, we don't want to sit here and talk about
Yeah.
horror all the time. Granted, I do believe there are plenty of movies that should be nominated. Well, not this year, because all I'm thinking is Oculus as the horror movie of this year.
Oculus was it was
Yeah,
the
that-
best horror movie of the year, but there weren't a whole lot of good horror
But
movies.
the worst movie I've seen this year was a horror movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of, though.
Quiet Ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you? Obviously, there's been many films or comedies that have been nominated.
Yes.
Annie Hall, actually winners. So Annie
Yeah.
Hall, The Artist, Shakespeare in Love. Help me out here, Bride.
I want to say, I'm blanking on things from recent
Yeah.
times. I don't know. Could you?
I only look for specific movies when I'm watching Oscar stuff, so I don't because I know you get super pumped over the best animated movie. I'm just looking for people I like.
I'm just going back. I'm
Give the
trying to go
categories.
back in time in my head, but
Mhm.
after about 3 years, it gets really fuzzy.
Yeah, my farthest back Oscar memory is just Helena Bonham Carter not getting Best Supporting Actress.
Trying to think.
And I was using Twitter at the time, so that was a while ago.
Yeah, there is not a whole lot.
MySpace?
No, Twitter. I haven't used Twitter in years.
Oh.
I used it for a while, and then I was like, I'm only following these kind of famous people, and it really depresses me that I don't get to actually hang out with them. So I stopped using Twitter.
American in Paris.
Okay.
Around the World in 80 Days.
Well, with Jackie Chan? Jeez.
No. Yeah. I don't know what I think about that movie. I really like it.
It had its moments.
but at the same time, it was really stupid.
Yeah.
West Side Story, My Fair Lady.
Oh yeah, because musical and comedy like share the same category.
Yeah.
So Chicago.
Oliver,
yeah,
yeah,
Chicago.
Chicago. But do you feel like there was ever a movie like you sat there and went, that should have been, a comedy, that should have been at least a nomination, definitely took the win.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Well, there's no announcement yet, so let's keep our fingers crossed. I think there might be. I think this year.
Yeah.
I agree with Annie Hall winning Best Picture. That movie was amazing. Jeez, I'm trying to think. As Good as It Gets.
Was The King's Speech classified as comedy? Because I know it was funny, and
It did have a happy ending.
had a happy
so,
ending.
Yeah.
So
It's not a tragedy, so it
it's
must be a
it's not
comedy.
a tragedy. It had its dramatic moments. I thought maybe they'd call it a drama, but if it is a comedy, then yeah. I thought it was going to be one of those boring, stuffy movies when I saw it, and I laughed. When I laughed, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was amazing!"
It might not be considered a comedy because it's historical drama.
It's
Ah.
it's World War II historical
I see.
stuff, so
Yeah.
probably not a comedy.
Yeah. I mean, the difference, I think, between that one and Shakespeare in Love is,
Shakespeare in Love's fictional.
it's more fictional and,
I'm sure elements of The King's Speech was fictionalized. But
Yeah.
but a lot more of the Shakespeare in Love
Yeah.
is more fictionalized.
Yeah.
Let me meet this girl. She's Juliet and I am Romeo.
It's like, dude, read your own play.
What are some other comedies that should have gotten nominated?
Obviously, the one movie I think should have at least been nominated. I'm so mad at. I almost didn't watch the Oscars. Was Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because I thought that movie was so well done, so beautiful, so well written, and all like that. And
It's kind
Quentin
of
Tarantino just showed up and took away the best screenplay.
It's kind of they're like the two big auteurs in Hollywood right now.
Mhm.
I mean, if you wanted to find a third, I mean, who do you even have? Like, M. Night Shyamalan puts himself in his movies.
Ugh.
Eli Roth sometimes does. So I mean, like, they're like the only two good ones. But it's kind of a weird call, but I really do think this is a perfect movie in a lot of ways. Blues Brothers.
Oh yeah.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a nice adventure story. It's a comedy. Deals with trying to figure out what it would deal with. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's men trying to save the orphanage that they grew up in, so it's kind of heartwarming.
I mean, every actor or like everyone in a majority of the people in major roles had to be able to perform,
Yeah.
and they could, and
like as many
in terms of soundtrack, I can't think of a movie I'd rather listen to.
as many R&B
soundtrack.
cameos as you could possibly throw in there.
And Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Frank Oz.
And a SWAT team coming in at the end to arrest two guys in a very
It's like
small building.
500 police cars. So
And what's that half tank of gas full pack of cigarettes?
Oh yeah, we've got 500 miles to drive. We've got a half tank, like a full tank of gas, a half pack of cigarettes. It's night, and we're
wearing
wearing
sunglasses.
I could have honestly, and this is one where at the time I didn't like it, but I've seen it a bunch of times since, and now it's like, what the hell was I thinking? I could have legitimately seen South Park being nominated.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even seen the movie, but I know it's like a big deal.
I forget it's like after the movie came out, they like got a letter from like Stephen Sondheim or something like that said, "I really enjoyed your musical."
Yeah.
They're like,
well,
"Oh,
if
shucks,
Stephen Sondheim says he liked your musical, you need some kind of like recognition from the musical community.
And
if they end up making a film version of Book of Mormon, then that might get nominated.
Yeah.
I could totally see that one definitely get a nomination.
I thought of comedy and it's Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay.
Because it dealt with like actual teenage stuff. Like other movies would be like, oh, the nerds always get picked on. There's more stuff that happens in high school than that.
Saturday Night Fever was nominated, right? Well, that's more of a tragedy.
Yeah. That was nominated. I'm right here on the internet, Wikipedia. Great. Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, we are horrible people.
yeah.
It's like, what have been comedies that have been nominated?
I didn't see
think of
Slumdog
Slumdog
Millionaire,
Millionaire
so.
as a drama, though. It's one of those, like, if someone asked me to name my favorite comedies this year, I don't know if I'd say Birdman, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
And even Wikipedia is calling Slumdog Millionaire a drama, but he gets the girl,
Oh.
and it ends in this nice little dance number.
Yeah.
Juno was nominated.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Juno, yeah.
The bits and pieces I've seen were pretty good.
I haven't seen it, which is weird because I really like Michael Cera. I think he kind of
Yeah.
gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
That people are like, oh, he always plays the same role.
Like Shane.
Not really. The guy from Juno was not Scott Pilgrim,
Yeah.
you know. But even if you do say he plays the same role, he plays that role really well.
Yeah.
He's likable and nerdy, and I totally he could have been Spider-Man.
He could have been Spider-Man. I would have watched
I
him as
want to see him
Spider-Man.
as Shaft.
Yeah, I was about to
Yes.
say that. That's what I want. He's on Broadway now.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, This Is Our Youth. Which, I really kind of want to see.
Now I just want to hear him sing.
Yeah.
Let's see him dance. See
Well,
what he can do.
It's not really a musical.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was like,
Granted,
I was a theater kid,
Yeah.
and when I hear Broadway, I think musical. 'Cause that's like the stuff I was raised on.
Oh, this is off topic, but I just found this out that James Corden is replacing Craig Ferguson in the
Oh.
Late Late Show, which is really interesting to me. I haven't seen Into the Woods yet, but I want to see how he did in that. But
Once again, we're going off topic.
Yeah.
Michael Cera, you guys are gonna hate this, and you might hate him now. He was the executive producer for Magic Mike.
really,
Yep.
Why would
Huh.
you do that, Michael Cera?
now, why the hell didn't they cast him as one of the strippers?
Yeah.
How amazing would... See, if they'd taken Magic Mike, if they'd recast Gambit, and then put in people like Michael Cera, replaced the Matthew McConaughey character with Bill Murray, and just cast it like that, that movie would have been absolutely astonishing.
And like recast Gabriel Iglesias, but by recast I mean just put him in a more out there role where he's not just the drug dealer in the background that makes a couple jokes.
Yeah, Stephen Fry is one of the roles. Or not Stephen Fry, Stephen Wright. That's what I'm thinking of. Stephen Fry's cool too, though. Put him in there somewhere.
Talking about Magic Mike, and once again, I'm going off topic again.
Are they making a sequel?
Well, they are making a sequel.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's supposed to come out sometime this year.
Oh, God.
But DC does variant covers every month, themes. They're doing movie themes.
Oh.
And the Justice League cover is Magic Mike.
Oh no.
That's
So it's-
kind of awesome, actually.
So it's Superman,
I really want
Aquaman,
that.
and Batman, like, taking off their shirts.
I want that on a poster above my bed.
That was kind of one of my favorite moments from the Justice League cartoon. I forget what the episode was. It was something to do with Zatanna, and it was something to do with magic, and he had to make like a deal with a god. And so Batman just went to this club and like sang a soul ballad.
I actually saw that one.
Yeah.
That's like the one I saw where I like looked around and I'm like, why are all the women's like double D's?
Well, it's superhero world, so.
Yeah, but he's like even for superheroes, I was like, dang, they got big boobs.
Because no one really
It's
knows how to draw.
Because it's awesome.
Like Zatanna hasn't seen her feet in years.
Well, she has magic boobs, so it's
Oh.
okay. So they can grow and
She'd
shrink.
be like, oh, I don't.
She just
I
has
can't-
to
I
say
can't find my
backwards how
shoes.
big she wants it. You know, Puck D.
What do you think of Stephen Colbert taking over?
I'm torn. I like that he's getting such a big position, but I'm gonna miss his character.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel.
And if they don't add some level of political commentary in, then I really don't understand getting him to be the role.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because I'd get really excited. Like I'd come home from high school and they'd be playing last night's episode, like right when I got home. So that's how I like learned political events in high school. Because they really don't teach you that shit in high school.
yeah.
They should be teaching you important stuff like that, but no, that gets glossed over. But that's how I found out like current events, and he was funny, and I could watch this guy, and I'd be like, his character stands for everything I'm against, and yet I love him so much.
Mhm.
I would not understand how PACs and super PACs work if it wasn't for Stephen Colbert.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's
Mhm.
worthwhile.
You know, obviously, Jon Stewart hosted the Oscars twice.
Yeah,
How would you feel about Stephen Colbert?
I think it would be great.
I would love it.
You know, I think it would be interesting to kind of take just like a Daily Show team of
Mhm.
like people who were related to the Daily Show and are now big deals, like Stephen Colbert, Steve Carell, Jon Stewart, John Oliver.
And just have them like team host the Oscar.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
the guy who was on like four segments and then went to host Weekend Update.
Yeah, John Oliver, yeah. That show has been really good. I
I
don't know.
haven't been watching it. Oh, John Oliver, yeah.
Go on.
I end up watching like everything like a month later just on YouTube.
That's how I am too. But his stuff is funny, and he's actually one of the reasons why I stopped eating sugar, because I didn't realize that companies can say whatever the hell they want on the boxes because it's freedom of speech.
Really?
Yeah, and
That's terrifying.
yeah, and that's how commercials are too. But the thing that's so interesting is that they're making a new law now that tells you how much sugar is actually in your food, because they're actually lying how much sugar is in your food. And juice companies are going in panic mode.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised because most juice is like 90% corn syrup and then like some food dye.
Yeah.
I love the fact that this is supposed to be about the Oscars and
We're
we're
talking
about
about
food.
sugars. Yeah.
Comedies.
But back
Comedies.
to comedies. What else? What else can with comedies?
I mean, there's always a chance every year Woody Allen's going to come out with something huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing this year, which I was really kind of
I thought he
surprised.
did something this year with Colin Firth.
Woody Allen.
I want to say Colin Firth and Emma Stone, I think.
I thought it was last year or the year before that.
Maybe.
Yeah. The year already changed. I can't keep track of what's going on anymore.
Man, he's old.
Well, when I say this year,
Yeah.
I mean 2014.
I know. But
'Cause
like,
I'm
it's
thinking-
now 2015, so whatever happened earlier in 2014 is like whatever happened last January is just all jumbled up in my head.
I'm really scared about this month in movies.
Yeah, it came out. Oh, actually, it did come out this year. The Magic in the Moonlight.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So-
gotta definitely watch that because haven't heard of it until
Yeah,
now.
It might be good. It might be.
It's
That was another comedy I felt. I'd not necessarily say it should have won, but I wouldn't have been mad if it did. Moonlight in Paris or Midnight in Paris.
Midnight in Paris. Yeah, that one really. I love that movie.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it really helped that I saw it immediately after The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Anything is gonna be fun, good. Anything's gonna be hilarious after you watch it. If you watch it after Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
I mean, it was so well written. I think that was the
Yeah.
thing that really got to me.
Oh, it's just
We found a replacement for the actor Woody Allen. I think with Owen Wilson.
yeah, he was better than he usually is. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's because just the script matches his like mannerisms.
I believe.
I haven't even seen it, and I can,
That's
just by
totally-
knowing about it, I can tell that he does
Mhm.
better than.
That's totally what we should do before we go see any Michael Bay movie now. Is
Is
watch
watch
The
The
Boy
Boy
in
in
the
the
Striped
Pajamas.
Pajamas.
No,
Like,
because
okay,
not only.
Transformers 5. Let's start with Nazis.
No, because not only was my sister in the class that came down to the Eccentric Movie Club, and you guys had to play that movie, so she came home and told me about how sad it was. But then I started to hang out with you guys, and you guys would talk about how sad it was. Mostly you, but
That movie was soul crushing.
all right.
But back to the construct of the comedies. Moonrise Kingdom won both the Academy Award for Best Screenplay and the Golden Globe for Best Screenplay. So,
Oh.
which I think was
That's
a
good.
very good choice.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what it was against. Screenplays I don't really pay much attention to.
Excuse me for a second.
Yeah, it went against The Artist, Bridesmaids, A Separation, and Margin Call.
Well, yeah, it's against Bridesmaids.
People like flipped out about Bridesmaids and were like, "Oh, this is so great! This is so great!" And I watched it and I'm like,
I have a theater professor, and he gets to pick the films that get nominated every, or actually he votes. And that one year he got the chance to pick, what movie was going to be in the best movie category and what gets nominated for the screenwriting and all like that. And he went on this like 10-minute tangent about how Bridesmaids, yeah, it's a great movie. It's good. Why in the bloody bleep is it being nominated for all this crap?
I think it's just because it was a lot of the stuff. It was new for it to be a female cast.
Mhm.
I really think that's it.
Mhm.
Which to me, like, yeah, great, greater gender equality in roles, perfect. Yeah, good, do that. But if it wouldn't have been good enough to be nominated with a male cast, it's not good.
Why do you think comedies are always usually overlooked?
I just think people, because when you walk away from a movie or you walk away from a performance, you're not necessarily thinking of how good the movie was or how good the performance was. You're thinking about the impact it had on you.
Mhm.
And a good drama will make you think about your life and will make you think about elements and aspects and all of that. A good comedy will make you laugh and you'll walk out feeling good.
Mhm.
And you're probably not really going to be too introspective afterwards. As much as I liked Midnight in Paris, when it was over, it didn't make me think about my life. It didn't make me think about, any of...
Really? I mean, that to me would be a movie that I would think you would, because the whole concept is, how can I make better art?
Yeah.
And, that's to me, one of the themes of the movie is,
Yeah.
how can you
Well,
make better?
I kind of have a weird philosophy where I think in a lot of cases the best course is not to be really introspective. It's not to examine everything you do. It's to do what you think is best. I mean, put thought into what you're doing. Ask yourself, why am I writing this line? What does this line do?
Mhm.
But at the same time, don't if you deconstruct it enough, you lose the personality.
Mhm.
And so it's like, there have been times when I've taken like writing classes, and then for months afterwards, I could not write like myself. I
Mhm.
couldn't write anything I liked.
Mhm.
And there have been times when I've like read like, I don't know, I can't even, like, I can draw all right. If I take art classes and they like drill a bunch of technique into my head, I draw terribly.
Mhm.
And so you lose the individual if you go too far into if you go too deep into examination. And I don't know, maybe that's why that part didn't really resonate with me, is that like I said, be thoughtful, but don't dissect what you're doing too heavily.
As Megan comes back from tinkering, I asked Brian the all-important question, why do you think comedies don't get nominated for the Oscars?
I guess well, I know the first few Oscars, people were like, this is just kind of a joke thing. But then when it caught on and became like the most prestigious night in filming, I guess people were like, no, this is a very serious night about seriously good movies. And just, I don't know, maybe it's because a lot of comedies are like the dumb, goofy shit that like every teen movie ever made is like a dumb, goofy comedy. Well, almost. I'm sure there's some that aren't. But so people will see like Kevin Hart movies and be like, well, comedy, it's not very serious. But then there'll be like a good, well-written comedy that doesn't have Kevin Hart, and people won't like realize. Well, they're just like, yeah, it's comedy. It's not serious filmmaking. Because everybody's just, it's a serious, prestigious night, and maybe just laughter isn't serious enough. Because I mean, a guy getting hit in the balls can make you laugh. And that's not serious at all.
I'm just thinking of the South Park.
I'm thinking of The Simpsons.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
The Simpsons, not South Park.
Man getting hit by football.
Oh.
I mean, I honestly agree. I don't think that they don't look at comedy as a very serious thing.
Yeah.
And well, like I was saying, I think that a perfect comedy will not make you as introspective and will not have as deep an impact on you as even like a near perfect drama. So I think it's a problem of perception rather than any kind of conscious like dismissal of the medium.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I think it's because they don't take it. I don't think they look at comedy as a very serious thing, and they feel like anyone could make someone laugh, you know. And I think that's the main thing. You know, a pie to the face is funny. It doesn't matter who gets hit with the pie, who throws the pie. It's still funny, you know.
But then you're like, oh, but I've got Daniel Day-Lewis who lived in a log cabin for several months in preparation for this film.
A.K.A. Lincoln.
Yeah.
Vampire Hunter.
It would be kind of interesting to see Daniel Day-Lewis cast in a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see if he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see his method training to be a comedic actor.
Oh, he'd do whatever his character did. If he was being, if he was being the dude from
Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski, he would rent a small apartment, go bowling every night.
Just live in a bathrobe.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining him just walking down the street with a bathrobe.
Oh, he would totally do.
Oh, I know.
I loved it. That's one of my favorite stories is when he was filming Games in New York, he would go out and get into street fights.
Hey, if he can give you that good performance,
Yeah.
why not go to that extreme, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with film that really intrigues me about film is that you make a movie and it's there forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 100 years from now, people are still going to be watching Citizen Kane.
Mm-hmm.
And you could put out the best performance ever on stage, but it's going to last that night.
Yeah.
You know, which is both a strength and a weakness, you know?
Mm-hmm. You know, it was funny.
It's just different.
We're going to end on this very last note. January 1st was Public Domain Day.
Did something actually go into the public domain this year?
No.
Okay.
Well,
But
yeah,
they made a list of everything that should have been in public domain. And we had The Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying what else came out that day.
Thank you, Disney.
Thanks a lot, Disney. Can we just pass a law that says no more of this lengthening public domain shit? Just don't draw Mickey Mouse.
I wanted to try to film a version of an H.P. Lovecraft story, and I think the publication date was 6 months after the eternally moving public domain line. So it was just
Yertle the Turtle.
Oh.
By Dr. Seuss. Breakfast at Tiffany's.
the book or the movie?
I think the book.
Yeah, because the movie.
Vertigo.
Oh,
The Cat on the Hot Tin Roof.
nice.
The song Johnny Be Good.
What?
Attack of the 50-Foot Woman.
Oh,
I guess this is all 50 stuff. Man.
Did I say Vertigo?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vertigo.
Can you imagine Johnny Be Good being in public domain, so up there with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?
Well, you know why Disney was like, we gotta change these public domain laws.
Because they wanted to keep Mickey because he's such a recognizable character.
Yes, but you blame Frank L. Baum because he lost the rights due to public domain, and Walt Disney was so scared that he was going to lose the rights to everything. Because apparently, the son or daughter of Frank A. Baum didn't sign something, and they lost, and that's why Wizard of Oz, the book series, is under public domain. And Walt Disney was so scared that he would lose everything that he was like, we need to change the law.
And he had the money to do it.
Yeah. Actually, believe it or not, he didn't.
Really?
Yeah, Walt Disney, believe it or not, was he always broke even. What made his money were toys.
Which is still how Disney operates.
Yeah, it still operates. But I mean, the films, he went bankrupt twice throughout his career. And they almost went bankrupt when they were designing Epcot.
Huh.
Yep. Well, on that nice note, go to Epcot.
Why couldn't Disney just been like, okay, so whoever's the CEO of my company has to sign a paper that says that Mickey Mouse is still owned by the Disney Corporation.
Well, that's the same forgetting to sign a thing. That's why It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas classic.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we want to thank everyone a good night.